Hi, I'm Stacey Ross here on the beautiful Gorge Waterway. This is a site that proved to be a very special location for our unsung islanders. Coming up next on Island 30, we'll tell you why. We hope you will become an unsung islander, because even though the BC Transplant Service is celebrating 25 years of providing life-saving organ transplants, there are still very few of us in this province who are registered to donate. There's one very grateful organ recipient who hopes that you might become an organ donor.
I was done with the male species. I was not having anything more to do with men.
Angela Moritz is thinking back to September of 2000. Her children were grown, she was single again and working a night shift. She enjoyed walking in the early morning at the end of her workday and wanted a walking partner.
So I put an ad on the internet asking for a walking partner. And again, expected a woman who worked at Tim Hortons, or somebody who was a nurse or something who worked a night shift too. And Stan answered.
She hesitated for quite a while to reply, then picked up the phone.
My goodness, we talked for hours that night. It was like we were soulmates, old buddies. We had known each other forever.
Our first date was a double-length walk of the Gorge Waterway, and I didn't really have any problem then.
Over the next year, as they walked and talked, Stan and Angela fell in love, and with their children's and grandchildren's blessing, set a wedding date for September 2002.
And then in August of 2002, I was diagnosed with pulmonary fibrosis. And the wording from the doctor was, you have idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis with 3 to 5 years to live.
Stan was 61 years old. Breaking the news to his fiancée, he told her he'd understand if she backed out.
Because, I mean, what is there in getting married to somebody that you know is going to die in 3 years?
I'm not going to stop loving you just because you have a diagnosis of that. And I said, I'd rather have you for a short time than not at all.
2 years after their wedding, with Stan getting sicker and sicker, a miracle. He's placed on BC Transplant's wait list for a new lung. He received a pager, which would go off if a match was found.
We do know of people who've had the pager for extended lengths of time and it didn't go off.
Because the chance of a match is slim. 23% of Vancouver Island residents are registered as organ donors, but that means 75% of us are not.
I think that a lot of people feel that organ donation is good, but they haven't stepped up and they haven't talked to their families, and that's a really important issue. Is talk to your families about your decision. When you make your decision to become an organ donor, that's a really important thing to do, because at the time of death, that's when that comes into play, is families will be asked, and at that point it's a really important thing for your family to know that you've made that decision.
On May 7th, 2009, Stan's pager went off, and with Angela by his side, he was flown to Vancouver to receive a new lung.
I've written a letter to the donor's family and expressing my appreciation, because what their loved one gave, is probably the greatest gift that anybody can give, and that's the gift of life.
Our first Christmas as a family was astounding. The first Christmas after the transplant, we actually had everybody together. And it was like, what a gift. We never expected we'd have another Christmas together.
That family includes 6 children and 13 grandchildren.
We could not even begin to thank the family or the person enough. It's just an amazing, amazing gift.
For information on how to register as an organ donor, log on to transplant.bc.ca.
Thanks very much, V, and I would encourage everybody to sign up to become an organ donor. Much more still ahead on Island 30, including this.
Later on Island 30, Cindy and I are going to talk about the top 4 summer health risks.
Hi, I'm Gordon Nicola, and coming up on Island 30, I'm going to show you whether to pond or to pond less, and which is better.
Of course, even in the wind, most of us would rather be walking than driving along the beautiful Gorge Waterway. But if you are in your car, there may be some kid-friendly accessories that will make the trip a little more fun. Here are Michelle and Paisley.
thanks for joining us. Michelle and I are just actually chatting about different accessories that we love to have in our car because both of our cars are filled with kids all the time. And there's a couple things that you can get in your car that'll make it a lot better for you in the long run, right, Michelle?
Oh, yes.
So what I have here is a Mommy and Me organizer. Now this looks really simple. It looks like the thing that you just stick on the back of your car or the back of the seat, and that will protect the seat from your kids kicking it. But it's a little more than that as well, isn't it, Michelle?
That's right. You can store all of your little knickknacks that you have in the car, like your bottles, magazines, toys for the kids, and have it all up and tucked away so it's not all over your floor making a big mess.
And this pops off, this little Velcro piece here unvelcros, and you can actually carry it around with you like a purse. So if you're heading into the doctor's office or heading somewhere, you've got your ready-to-go bag right there.
Something to keep them occupied while you're there.
Yeah, absolutely. And now my daughter falls asleep in the car all the time. Her head's always tilting to the side. And I see here you've got a solution for that.
That's right. It's just a little, they call it the Hug Me, and it's just a little pillow that goes around so when they can fall asleep, their little head doesn't get, their neck doesn't get angled, and they can have a good little sleep against that pillow.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, for those people that go on longer road trips, I have to admit, I'm a bit more of a flyer than a driver, but for those of you that like to drive and maybe have a baby that's bottle fed, or you want to be able to keep bottles warm, this is an amazing thing. This only costs $15, and it's a bottle warmer that you can plug right into your car. So you're not stopping no longer for just random, bottle fills. You're able to keep it warm in the car on the go. It'll shorten your trip, I'm sure, and it's super easy to use. Really, really convenient as well.
This thing here is just a little bolster too, so those difficult trips and you need to have that right angle in your car seat, this will help you get your car seat at the right angle if you need it for installation as well.
Yeah, that can be really handy for when you are installing your car seat and you're trying to make sure that it's angled right. This is the thing that you want to use as opposed to towels rolled up or something along those lines. Now, I guess when we're talking about car seats, we should talk about this Ultra Mat here, because this is something that everybody with a new car, even with an older car, really wants to have to protect the seats in their car, right?
Exactly. When you're buying your new car seat, you need to buy your mat to protect your car fabric. Either leather or fabric, you need a car seat protector because they will wear and they'll cause rubbing marks or tears on your car seat.
Not only that, Cheerios, juice, everything gets shoved down beside there. These are all great things that you can get for your car that'll make any trip that you take with your kids easier.
Thanks, ladies. Now, it's important to always be safe when you're nearby the water, and water is just one summer health risk we need to think about. Here are Carmen and Cindy now to talk about that. Ladies?
Tonight, Cindy and I are going to talk about the top 4 summer health risks. And we're here at Beacon Hill Park. It's a sunny day.
It is.
And with summer just around the corner, we're going to be spending a lot more time outside. And so summer activities, actually, there's a lot more risks than, say, during the winter. And the number 1 risk, actually, is dehydration. Many of us forget to drink water. And as it gets hotter, little ones can really get dehydrated really quickly. So just make it a house rule that when you leave the house, for anyone, yourself or your kids, make sure they're taking water. And also, kids are unlikely, if they're playing in the park, to come up to you and say, I need a glass of water. So make sure that you have frequent scheduled water breaks.
That's a good idea. Another big concern in the summer is heat stroke. That is a very serious thing. It can be life-threatening, actually. So basically, heat stroke is when your inner core temperature rises and your body can't regulate it. So like a high fever, it can actually cause some permanent damage. The signs of heat stroke are confusion, short rapid breathing, and the absence of sweating. So if you see somebody that's got those kind of signs, call 911 right away and get them some help.
And another issue, of course, is the sun, the UV rays, and sunglasses, which we all should be wearing, excuse me, all the time. Now, that can be from grandparents to little toddlers, but what you're really looking for are any sunglasses that have the 100% protection of UVA and UVB rays. So if you have an old pair of sunglasses and you're not sure where they came from, throw them away. Because what happens when you put sunglasses on, of course, the lens is dark, so your pupils actually get really large. So that when the rays bounce off the ground and into your lens, if they're not 100% protection, some of those UV rays will get through your lens and you can still have damage to your eyes even by wearing sunglasses.
So an old pair would actually makes it worse.
That's right.
Oh, that's not very good. Another problem, of course, is sunburns. That's the one most people know about. Now, kids can get a sunburn in as little as 15 minutes. So you really want to be proactive about sunburn. The symptoms sometimes don't show up till 2 or 6 hours later. So you want to make sure that you're applying your sunscreen liberally and often. Now, the signs of sunburn, of course, are pain, red skin, blisters, and sometimes even a fever. So you want to make sure that you've got lots of sunscreen protection for your kids and the sun clothing that blocks out the sun altogether. Those are really important, and we want to make sure that you all have a happy and safe summer. So our resource pick for this week is summertime, is KeepKidsHealthy.com. Type in summertime news and you'll have lots of good information like this. We'll also post all these tips on the forum on childsplay101.com.
And we're also going to have 3 recipes for homemade sunscreen that really work.
That's a great
with
idea.
everyday items.
Perfect. Yeah. So have a great summer, folks.
The Gorge Waterway, it looks like a big pond, kind of, doesn't it? Well, I'm thinking we might want something a little more manageable, so let's check in with Gord Nickel.
Well, at the Garden Center, one of the most popular questions that we get is, if I want that beautiful sound of water coming down, do I necessarily need a pond? And what are the benefits of having a pond or maybe just having a water course? Well, I thought I'd show you both of them and let you have a look and maybe talk about the benefits of both. Right here we have just a small pond. It's a 6x8 pond, really simple. Something that a homeowner could put in their yard. Oh, probably could take you, if you dug the hole, is probably the most challenging part. But after that, it really only takes you probably a day or two and a little bit of artistic talent to put the rocks in the right space. This actually comes as a kit, so it's really quite easy to do. The big pluses of this system is that you actually get the pond. You can see we've got some crystal clear water, and that's partly due to the good movement of water. Also, there's a skimmer unit at this end, which basically takes all the floating debris, takes it away, makes a biological filter, and then it just keeps that water moving. And it's perfect for setting if you wanted to put some irises or some floating hyacinths in here. But the real big thing is that you can put fish in here and enjoy the fish, and it looks great, and you can feed them, and it's awesome. Now, I have to admit, with this one, there is a bit of maintenance, and you possibly could get that dreaded green water once or twice a year. It's a normal cycle, but you got to be prepared for it. Now, if you're somebody that says, I love this sound, but I really would like something that had really low maintenance, then you probably want to go for more of this one. Now, this one is exactly the same in the sense that it's building it and everything is the same. You can see the filter is exactly the same as the other pond unit. We've got a water course that comes down. The big difference is I'm standing right where the pond would be, and basically what you do is you have a pond unit here and you fill it up with rock, and then it becomes a great big filtration unit. So it comes down here, leaves and everything are caught on here. Unfortunately, you can't put fish, but you always get that crystal clear water. It's a great system. You really don't have to worry about anything. So if you're looking for fish and those types of things, you may want to go to the pond. If you want clear water, just like the sound, but you don't really care about the fish, you may want to do the pondless. And both of them come in very easy kits to do.
Thanks very much, Gord. Well, that's gotten me in the mood for a little bit of entertainment. Coming up after the break, we've got our Band of the Week and Gordy Tupper with us.
Hey, Stacy, we're backstage at Dralion, one of the Cirque du Soleil shows, and Mandy, who we're going to meet in a couple of minutes, is one of the star performers. Take it easy up there, Mandy. When we come back after the break.
Welcome back. This week's Band of the Week has a little bit of everything. They've got some brass, they've got some reggae. Let's listen now to Hillside Hooligans.
Well, we had jam space on Hillside and
the Rock Bay Hillside.
Yeah, Rock Bay and Hillside. It's a nefarious neighborhood. And we're a bunch of partying, fun-loving types of dudes, so figured Hillside Hooligans was the way to go.
We play, ska, reggae, a little bit of punk rock in there. A lot of our original songs were stuff that Brandon had written on the acoustic, so we've kind of adapted it to be kind of full band versions of that. And now our newer stuff we're starting to write a little more as a full band.
He got beat up, he got scored. Jimmy was a battered man, always chasing after whores. Jimmy had a family man.
The Slackers are really big for me, especially David Hilliard, the sax player, is a big one for me. Also, you know, grew up listening to a lot of punk rock, so a lot of that as well.
I like real old reggae, the Trojan era. That's big for me. I like the simplicity, the way the horns work, the vocal harmonies. Of course, Bob Marley and Peter Tosh, those guys were big for me. Sort of addicted to reggae now. It's all I really want to listen to.
Always chasing after whores.
The core members of us have played together for, I don't know, 7 years in One Drop. It was just songs that I had written at home on my digital recorder on the acoustic, and then when we decided to form a band, we brought those songs in, and we already had like 8 or 9 songs to work with, so that's like the basis for our performances and the content of our sets.
Why did you ruin little Jimmy? Sent him to war.
It's a good group of people, and you know, we meet at least once a week and have fun and talk and jam, and you know, play music, and that's sort of what it's all about. And it's all about having a good time.
We have our first full-length album right here, Tales from Rock Bay. You can catch up with us on Facebook, the Hillside Hooligans.
Yeah,
we have
hooligans.ca.
Yeah.
Links to it all. And we're playing on Skafest on
Friday night.
Yeah, Friday,
July
8th. So we're playing with the Planet Smashers and the Resignators from Australia at Market Square. So yeah, come down there and you can find us there.
Sent him to war. Yeah, you sent him to war.
Thank you very much to Hillside Hooligans, and as always to Gordy Cheney Sound and the V Lounge. Do I look like I'm a circus performer? Well, indeed, the circus is in town, and our own Gordy Tupper went behind the scenes of the spectacular production of Drellian to give us an inside look at what life on the road is really like. Gordy?
Stacy, when Cirque du Soleil comes to town, it's like a military operation. 18 trailers of costumes and equipment of all kind, plus crews of workers to recolor shoes one by one, seamstresses repairing and refreshing costumes, guitars being restrung for the live music, and performers stretching and exercising all over the place in their never-ending battle to achieve perfection. Like 22-year-old Mandy Orozco, who was practicing on the silks. How long did it take to learn to do something like that?
I'd say probably over the course of 3 years, from really just starting out on a basic level.
And this is what Mandy looks like in the opening of Drellian. Definitely not your basic level stuff. Performing with Cirque du Soleil is a dream for many young girls, and Mandy is no different.
I'd been ecstatic about Cirque du Soleil since I was 12. My mom took me to see La Nuba, which is a resident show in Orlando, Florida, where I'm from. And I was just enamored by aerial tissue specifically, and I told her that's what I wanted to do. And, you know, she told me, oh, follow your dreams, not really expecting that I'd actually run away and join the circus.
But she did, training for 4 years with the National Circus School in Montreal before getting called up to the majors, being the high flyer in the show. Is that dangerous?
Depends on your perception of the word dangerous, I suppose.
Well, if you fall...
then I suppose, yes, it's dangerous.
But Mandy's more than pretty good. There's no falling for her. Hey, Mandy, it looks pretty dangerous to me.
Not so bad. Not when you do it every day.
Sean, you're the artistic director of the show.
Yes.
How big a job is this?
Well, I have a team of 66 people if we want to start there.
Wow. So you're like a wrangler, huh?
Yeah, there's quite a lot of people on my team. The amazing thing, though, is 52 of those are artists, and the rest are support staff. We have an incredible crew of Chinese acrobats on this show. Our director wanted to go to China and bring back a show that related to the years of acrobatic tradition. It's about 3,000 years of acrobatic tradition in China, and fuse that with a very avant-garde Cirque du Soleil way of doing things. So the result of that was this beautiful creation called Dralion.
The costuming in the show is just spectacular, and it matches the stars' actions perfectly, as you would expect with Cirque. It's enough to entrance any young performer into running away and joining the show, but Mandy knows there will be life after.
I take college courses, so later on when I can't hang by one foot upside down, I'll have a continued career.
Mandy's looking at medicine for her future, but today it's all about performing, and apparently it's a pretty sweet job.
It really is. I mean, I can't think of a better job. I literally wake up and am paid to fly through the air on a daily basis. I can't think of much better lifestyle than that.
Thanks, Gordy. I'm still trying to work out my chain fence routine. It looks like I need a little more time to prepare, so I'm gonna have to wrap things up for the show today. I'm Stacey Ross. We'll see you again soon.
We'd love to hear from you. Send us your story ideas by calling 250-480-3767 or drop us an email at island30@checknews.ca.